Hello, students. Good morning. Here we'll discuss a new topic ambiguity. Ambiguity in language occurs when a word, phrase, or sentence, right? Or sentence can be understood or interpreted in more than one way, right? It is a fundamental aspect of human communication that can lead to misunderstandings but is also exploited in humor, literature, and wit. So, ambiguity is not always negative. Sometimes it is used in to create humor or right, and it is used in literature and wit as well. So, ambiguity is generally categorized into two main types, right? There are more than two, but main type of ambiguities is structural and semantic. So, structural ambiguity, syntactic structure means technically which is known as syntactic ambiguity. So, structural ambiguity arises when a sentence's grammatical structure or syntax allows for two or more distinct interpretation. When there is a structure, different kind of structure creates distinct interpretations. So that is structural ambiguity when structure is different. Even if the individual words are ambiguous. So, suppose for example, uh, there is confusion, right? Confusion. So, synonyms of confusion is flummox, right? Then baffle, right? Then uh, bewilderment, right? So, these all are the different synonyms of confusion. But each and every word cannot be fit in every situation. So there is uh, difference, right? There is different meaning of each word. So they are alike. They cannot be alike. They are synonyms, right? So this way, individual words are so that is important because individual word is very important. So what they are saying the same, that's a structural ambiguity arises when a sentence grammatical structure or syntax allows for two or more distinct interpretations even if the individual words are unambiguous, right? So that is very important. The way the words are grouped or related to each other is unclear. So words are grouped, that's a group. Words are grouped and make a phrase or clause or sentence or related to each other is unclear. And suppose words which you are using, they are how they are connected with one another is not clear, creates ambiguity. When we discuss example, you will be able to understand. First, that is, I saw the man with the telescope. Some examples frequently used to understand ambiguities. So please, you can remember these examples. Say, for example, first example, second example. For a structural ambiguity, these are the very common structure in example. So you can remember the same. But yes, by which we can understand a structural ambiguity. First is I saw the man. So here I saw the man, right? With the telescope is qualifying the man, right? Or which is who is having telescope? You or the man? That's a question that creates ambiguity. Ambiguity interpretation 1, the man had the telescope. Interpretation 2, I use the telescope. So who has telescope? Eh, as you read this sentence or as you write this sentence, so that's I saw the man with the telescope. So that's a immediately there are two interpretations. So first interpretation, the man had the telescope. I use my eyes to see a man who possesses. Man possesses, right? So here man possesses a telescope. The prepositional phrase with the telescope modifies the man. Okay. Number two, interpretation two. I use the telephone. I use the telescope. I use a telescope to see a man. So the prepositional phrase with the telescope modifies the verb phrase saw the man. Right? So even if you just read this sentence, that's a in first case here we have seen that the man who possesses the telescope, so that's a prepositional phrase with the telescope modifies the man, right? Means telescope is with a man. Number two, that's a telescope, okay, with the telescope modifies the verb saw the man, right? So that is two interpretation. Okay, if you simplify, don't read suppose this discussion, but read just this, I saw the man with a telescope. So there are two persons, I and man, right? And here telescope. So important thing is that who has telescope, who is using telescope, either I or man. That creates problem, that creates two interpretation. So that is called ambiguity. Next example, flying planes can be dangerous. So when words, vocab, such uh, as flying, this is called gerundial form, Suppose eating or reading newspaper is good habit, is a good habit. So that is ing form, that is called technically, which is called gerundial, gerund, gerund or gerundial form, right? And suppose gerundial form means verb first form plus ing, right? Reading, writing, smoking, right, is bad habit. So that is first ing, right? So verb first form of verb with ing is called gerundial, gerund, right? So that is gerund. Okay. So example, that gerund, why I'm telling you, sometimes gerund or infinitive create a problem, right? So how? Let us see. Flying planes can be dangerous. So flying planes, right? So that is first interpretation, act of flying. We have seen the accident in Gujarat. So you can see, in that way you can see that flying planes can be dangerous, means the act of flying, right? It's so dangerous. Number two is the planes themselves, right? Flying planes, and then the act of flying means uh, when you take, right, pilot, it is very dangerous for pilot. Or number two, when plane fly, that can be dangerous. So the act of piloting an airplane is a is dangerous act of piloting, right? Okay. Flying is gerund, acting as the head of the noun phrase subject, because it is used in the beginning, right? So that is used as subject. Okay. So that's the first interpretation, that act of piloting an airplane, right, is dangerous. Number two, the plane themselves means airplanes that are in the air are dangerous. So here flying is an adjective modifying the planes. So there are two things. Flying is used for pilot, right? Here you can see that the flying word is used for flying, bird word is used for pilot, and is used for, that is, planes. Here when plane flies, right? So that is plane flies, that is verb form. And when pilot is flying the plane, right? So then that is also verb form. But here, when imagine when pilot is flying plane, that is uh, the flying is used for pilot. But when plane itself flying, and that state is dangerous. So here they are given the same interpretation. Act of flying, the act of piloting an airplane is dangerous. And number two, airplanes that are in the air are dangerous. So airplanes are dangerous. Airplanes are dangerous. And in first, the act of piloting an airplane, right? So suppose job is dangerous. First is job is dangerous, right? And number two, that is airplanes are dangerous. Airplanes are dangerous. These are the two interpretation can be taken out from flying planes. So flying planes can be dangerous. What flying? To act or to fly planes is dangerous, or when planes fly is dangerous. That is interpretation. Then the general ordered the soldiers to shoot. So the general, that's a subject and that's a predicate. Okay. So now the general ordered the soldiers to shoot. Interpretation, command to shoot others or command to be shot. Now interpretation 1, the general gave the soldiers the command that they should shoot, means they are free to shoot. Okay, that is open. That's a interpretation. Number 2, the general ordered that the soldiers be shot by others. So here the general ordered the soldiers to shoot. First is simple, but the general ordered the soldiers command to be shot, means the general ordered that the soldiers be shot, means let them shoot. Another interpretation is the general ordered the soldiers to shoot, and the general ordered the soldier to be shot, command to be shot, let them shoot to them. That's the another interpretation. So this is called structural ambiguity. Now come to the semantic ambiguity or lexical ambiguity. Why? Because words. Ambiguity through words. When you use word and then word is there's a homonyms and homophones. That creates problem. How? Let us see. Semantic ambiguity, also called lexical ambiguity, arises when sentence contains a word or phrase that has multiple meanings. That ambiguity which is created because of word or phrase. So that is polysemy or homonymy. Homonymy is same name, means a word whose spelling and sound is same, right? And meaning is different. For example, and the context does not clearly indicate, which is the biggest problem. Context. Context does not clearly indicate. So that is problem. Which meaning is intended? How big is ambiguity which is occurred of because of words, right? So let us see. First is the man arrival at the bank. Now here bank is the problem. This is the term, this is the word, right? This is semantic ambiguity, and this is semantic means word or phrase. So ambiguity because of word or phrase, right? So here ambiguity because of this word bank. Why? Because the man arrived at a financial institution, that's a commercial bank building, we can say, or the man arrived at the edge of the river, that is also bank. Any river, lake, a river, a river bank, right? So bank is homonym, right? Same, homo is same, so same name is used for financial bank and is used for edge of the river. So that creates ambiguity. Where is man standing? He arrived at the financial institution or edge of the river. That's a problem. Now next is we need more light. We need more light. So that's a light. That's because darkness is there. So that's a we need more illumination or brightness because there is dark. So we need illumination or light, brightness. Number two, we need a less heavy or weighty object. That's a light or heavy. Actually, there are two interpretations: light, right, versus dark, or light versus heavy. So that sentence is, we need more light. So that's a, light means illuminating of brightness. This light is brightness. And we need less heavy or weighty object, right? So that's a very heavy object, and we need some light object weight wise. So that's a, one is, that's a brightness and weight. One interpretation is brightness, right? And number two is weight. Okay, so that is why it is creating problem. Now she is feeling blue. That's a, blue is the color of sadness, depression, or that's a, I like blue, right? Certain color. So color of feeling. Here blue is color or feeling. So let us see. Interpretation 1. She is feeling a certain color, right? Literal, through, unlikely in a typical use. So that's a, she is feeling blue, right? So that's blue color. She is feeling certain color. Literal or through, unlikely is typical use, right? So that is, she's feeling blue means everywhere blue, blue color, right? And she's feeling sad or depressed, right? So that blue can refer to a color or a mood. So here blue is interpreted in two ways. There's a blue color, simple color, right? And sadness. There's a feeling, there's a mood, feeling, right? So this blue is creating problem. Then the picture is broken. Picture is container. This is called picture. So picture is, this is called picture, right? So the picture is broken. So this picture is broken, right? Number two, the baseball player, right? So the container used for pouring liquids or water is broken. And number two, the baseball player, the one who throws the ball, has sustained an injury or is otherwise unable to perform. The word pitcher is homonym. So pitcher is used for baseball player and for container, creates problem. The pitcher is broken, heartbroken, upset, right? So that's a injury, otherwise unable to perform because of mood, right? So that's a pitcher is that player. So here two interpretations of this word. One is that's a container, and number two is player. So if we say that the pitcher is broken, that container is broken, number two, pitcher is broken, the player is facing, he's like broken. Why? Because sad or injured or something. So this is called lexical ambiguity, or this is semantic ambiguity. That's a, because of homonym or one, because of word. So the relationship between the types, while structural and semantic ambiguities are distinct, they can sometimes co-occur in the same sentence. Means they are found together, compounding the lack of clarity. For example, structural ambiguity, the arrangement or grouping of words, syntax, है ना? So structural means arrangement of or grouping the word. When that's a syntax is sentence is that's a group of word which makes complete sense. So that's group of words. Sometimes that's a arrangement that grouping is not proper. It's called syntactic ambiguity, structural ambiguity. Okay, then semantic ambiguity. So that is structural ambiguity. Semantic ambiguity, the multiple meanings of an individual word, that is lexicon, right? And semantic arrangements of words. Now, number so that's a the source. Then resolution, clarifying the intended relationship between phrases. So that's a relationship between the phrases. And here specifying the intended meaning of ambiguous words. So that is ambiguous words are because of this ambiguity comes. So that is visiting relatives can be boring. So is the act of visiting boring, or to means sometime you are going to someone, so you are visiting, okay, and sometime with relatives come to you, not clear. So that is called structural. And semantic, he has a bat. A bat is baseball bat or flying mammal, right? So not clear. Flying mammal, bat, right? Or baseball bat, that's a bat, right? That's a bat or flying mammals, right? So not flying mammals. Not clear because both are called bat. So this is the ambiguity and sometime co-occurred. So thank you so much. We have just read out and try to understand. I will make